You've been nominated on the Brits, haven't you?
I think everyone has it's like a bit of negative energy attached to them, but it's just how much you let that control you. When's the break?
That's what I'm saying.
How was that, man?
Wasn't it? Yeah, I wasn't sober then. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, mate. Yeah,
Wow.
It was a wicked experience. It felt like a movie. It felt like a Seth Rogen movie. I really wanted to try and learn how to be more present and like how to take things in better, because things would just happen, and then I'm like, I don't even think I would just process what just happened. It was a weird time, mate, because I was highly motivated, but I was also grieving as well. It's a weird complexion in my mind. It's just trying to use that energy in a positive manner and not something that's self-detrimental, because when you go down the other route, it just makes the pain worse.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the support so far on this project. It means the absolute world to us.
However, we've noticed that around 75% of you who listen and watch the show haven't yet hit the subscribe or like button.
So in order for this community to grow and allow us to build this project, we have a small request from you.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app that you're listening or watching this show. Your commitment... What were you laughing at? I did a really good job, didn't I? Right, do another one. Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're watching or listening this show. Listening this show.
Remember to smile.
I'm always smiling.
You weren't.
Was I not? Stop it. Kelly's fucking waiting for us
Come on.
outside, bro.
Composed. Right, let's do it.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're listening to or watching this fucking show. Right, come on, just one more. Please hit the subscribe or like button. Your commitment is our commitment.
Let's do this.
Fuck off. Come on, more.
Yeah, I'm not going to cheeseball it up, but I'll go, let's do this.
That'll do.
But it's funny, yeah.
It's weird hearing it. It's like I'm
Yeah.
used to
Hear yourself
listening
back?
Well, I listened to your podcast yesterday and this morning, but now I'm actually hearing it live.
Yeah.
You're in it.
I'm in it.
You're part of it.
Yeah,
I'm in it.
Jordan.
Right, we're rolling, so...
We're rolling.
Rolling.
What were you gonna say there? Go on. Finish your sentence.
No, because it's live, so I'm not going to finish it.
Right, okay.
But we're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling. Right, Goddard, welcome.
Hello, boys. How are we?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Really good. Came back from Santa yesterday. Had a gig there, and yeah, it's feeling good, man. It's like looking after myself and that as much as possible. Not as much as you. But,
Well,
wow.
now.
Bloody hell, mate.
Yeah,
you look like a MMA fighter.
You know what? One of my mates said when I was getting down to weight when I was cutting, they were like, "You look like a fucking 155."
Yeah.
And all, like, they were looking like when I was starting to get my abs, and I was getting a bit vain, like I need the fucking abs. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters unless you can see your abs. But thank you. I'll take that. Fucking take that. Yeah, nice one. Well, mate, thanks for coming down. I know we've been speaking about this for a little while now, so really good to finally get you in. We were going to do it, I think, yesterday, but yeah, you had that gig in Zante. What's the weather like there? Because it's shite here at the moment.
Oh, it was hot, man. Yeah, it was like 35 degrees. It was beautiful. Really nice.
I said, you
Not
might
to rub it in.
You brought it back. You brought it a little bit back because the sun kind of came out yesterday, then it fucked off again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it comes out for Sunday, football day. It's the
Oh,
final, isn't it?
yeah.
We need the sun on that day.
I wouldn't get your hopes up. I wouldn't hold your breath. It's gonna be apparently it's gonna be wet for the next like 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
I don't give a fuck. 'Cause
You're in
tomorrow,
Italy?
I'm going to Italy tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you taking your Crocs?
Of course, I'm traveling in my Crocs. Do you wear Crocs?
Smokers.
Right, so
Right, he's got an answer for this. Go on.
I've always been a little bit anti-Crocs.
Okay,
But-
explain
Touch
yourself.
me.
Oh, fuck, I didn't think it was going to go that way. Like, elaborate.
Well, because I thought they'd just look a bit whack. But when I went to Australia, I did Ribbon and Vines out there, and they were giving away Crocs and all the little things, and I started to get into it a little bit, and I tried them on, and then I was like,
See?
I see why people wear them. They're really comfy.
Yeah.
And I took them with me, and I left them behind in one of my hotel rooms. I was genuinely a bit gutted, so I think I do like Crocs now.
See? So converted. But you know what the mad thing is?
But
When we were...
I'm going to preface that real quick.
Go on,
based on what Goddard's saying, the universe decided no Crocs.
It's subconscious when we're fucking them off.
Give them to Jackie.
No, but the charms on them Crocs cost a fortune. You know, if you buy the Crocs, do you know about the charms?
Don't.
Listen.
No.
we
Let's stop there.
Listen. When we went over to Miami for Roger, this is where I got mine. I got them in Miami when I went for Roger's wedding,
You
right?
got Roger some charms for his Crocs. on his
Roger
wedding.
and Kristen, a couple of pairs of Crocs. No, listen. So there was a guy staying in our hotel. No, it was actually Soho House. We went to the gym, and this guy was on a stepper with these Crocs. I was like, all right, I think Crocs are all right, but he was on the stepper, and they had, you know, like thick metal spikes, you know, like silver spikes.
Yeah.
And you know, the holes across the front, there must be like maybe 25, 30 holes. Every single one of them had a spike in. And I was like, they're a bit fucking OTT. So anyway, I was thinking about Crocs, and Eleanor was like, maybe we should get some Crocs. So we went to the Crocs store in Miami. And we got our first set of Crocs, right? But then at the end of the purchase, they go, right, you've got the Crocs. Now let's look at the charms, right? So I'm like, what do you mean the charms? I thought he'd maybe bought them custom. Like he'd sent them to like a Pimp My Croc company and they just fucking pimped these shoes, yeah? But they hadn't, you buy them. Some of them are like 17 quid a charm. Now bearing in mind, this guy had about 50 of them. 50 times, even say 10. So those Crocs might have been worth about fucking $600.
I mean, imagine that though. Imagine getting robbed for your Crocs.
Oh no, it's mental.
Of all the things to rob, like, what did he take? Well, he took my Crocs.
Yeah, it ain't my charms.
Not my charms.
But,
I had
mate,
one space
anyway.
left.
Anyway, before we move on from that, just to confirm, Jackie went to Miami to Roger and Kristen's wedding and went to the Croc store in Miami.
Yeah, it was fucking pissing down all
Is
week.
that where
What
your
else?
Crocs are from, by the way? You
Yeah,
smokers?
Miami. Yeah, I mean smokers. Stop calling them smokers.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let's go.
let's not talk about my Crocs. We can do a fucking episode on that, but we're here for this, man.
We are definitely
Yeah.
here for Goddard, but like I said, the universe decided no Crocs for you, Goddard, because he knows.
He has to get the last fucking word in. Anyway, obviously we know about you, but for the people at home who don't know, let's tell them a little bit about you, your journey into music, how that looks from where you went to where you are now, and sat here with us.
Okay, so I mean, I started making music as a hobby, like just to have a bit of a laugh, and I never really actually thought being able to DJ full time, but just it always seemed a bit too far reach. So in my head, I was going to go down the promotion route and try and do events.
Okay.
And
How old were you then?
so I was 20.
Because you're only a baby, right? You're fucking 98? You're 98?
No, 92.
92?
Yeah, I'm 31.
Oh,
31.
right. I thought you were younger.
I just look young.
You
Jackie.
do look. No, I've got 98 wrong from. But he definitely looks younger.
Yeah.
Much younger. That's good. Fucking take that, bro.
I will. I'll take it for as long as it'll last. But no, I studied music production at uni, and to be honest, for the first 2 years, I didn't really go. I just spent most of it in my halls and just self-teaching on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Third year, I really got into it, did that, and then I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. So then I went and did another year at Leeds, and I did a master's there. But that was actually really cool because it taught us a lot more about the business side, and I wasn't really getting anywhere with anything. Like I'd send in music, and I just didn't really know, one, how to approach people, and two, just needed a bit of help with that sort of stuff, and it gave me a lot of insight. But so when I finished that, I went and my mate called me up and said, you know, I'm thinking of starting this events company, and I'm gonna rent out this piece of equipment. I took a week off after I graduated, and then just to figure out, like, do I want to do this, and decided I want to do it, but I'd rather sort of hone it more in the festival direction than sort of higher. So we started doing art installations and stage design for festivals, and that was great because we got like free tickets to festivals. But then in our second year, we were really gaining momentum. Like we were in talks with Glastonbury, and things were looking great. But that was the year that we had the lockdown, and just overnight it was gone. You know, because we didn't know how long it was going to take, and I didn't really have an income at that point either. So I had to kind of really think on my feet. And my girlfriend Emily just said to us, just stay in the flat and just make tunes.
She said that to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's a gem.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's a gem. So I just did that, and it was just it was the first time that I'd really was able to just do it every single day. And you know, if I wasn't making a tune, I was either learning about digital marketing or watching tutorials and just trying to hammer home. So I made like 60 tunes and then picked out 5 of the strongest and then started to speak to people about, you know, where, you know, who can release these for me and stuff like that. And I sent it to a friend of mine. I made a meme using This Country. I made a meme with my tune on it. And then I said to the owner of Ketflix and Pills, you know, Joey. Yeah. Shouts to Joey.
Yeah, big up Joey.
I said to him, you know, how much for a shout out? And he said, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm going to send it to my mate. He runs a drum and bass label. And then it happened to be Josh at D&B Allstars. And then Josh called me and said, you know, I'm actually looking to manage someone. And it just sort of burst from that, really. That was the start of it. So we did the single, a couple of singles, an EP, one more single. And then after that, the Go remix came in.
Yeah.
And once that came in, that's when like we were going into meetings and stuff with the majors, and that was quite intimidating at the time.
Well, that'd be intimidating any time. Bro.
Yeah. I mean, the buildings are just a bit like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. But that was kind of the real start of where it was going from sort of doing gigs part time to we can maybe do this full time now.
So that, you know, when we all went to lockdown and everything stopped.
Yeah.
You've used that as a strength and kind of spun it. It could have gone the other way, man. And
it was a weird time, mate, because I was highly motivated, but I was also like, I just lost my mum to cancer, so I was also grieving as well. It was a weird complexion in my mind. There were some days where I was highly motivated, and that was like my way of dealing with that and not letting it get to me, not getting sucked in by numbing myself. Don't get me wrong, not all days were like that, but the majority of it was, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make something happen out of it. And fortunately, you know, we managed to do it.
Wow. Well, that's powerful. I mean, you can probably relate a lot to that, losing a parent.
Yeah. During that lockdown period,
Yeah.
it's funny because we heard from Lloyd as well, obviously, who's been on, and you know, and listening to your journey there, Andrew, as well, and I think I'm noticing when we're doing this and we're speaking to people is there's always that pivotal moment of where we talk about it, where when things get tough, you have two choices. You either say, I'm not going to do it, or you carry on. And it's the people that you're around at the time who also add value to that. And I know when you just said that, then the support that you got from your girlfriend, I think you said, is it?
Yeah, Emily.
Emily was a big thing for you.
100%.
At that time.
Big up Emily then.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. Yeah, I lost my father during the lockdown period in May 20, and I get what you're saying. Not every day is like that. It isn't.
Yeah.
You just got to take each day as it comes, and grief can be an individual thing for all of us. Obviously, it is. There's no time frame with any of it. So I'll never say to anyone, sometimes I used to say it many, many years ago, oh, I know how you feel, I know how you feel. When it comes to losing somebody, I'll never say I know how you feel because it's completely unique to you. Yeah. But I'll always say I can relate, I can kind of understand. So I think it's amazing to already hear that so far, so far where we're up to in today's chat, because there's going to be a lot more. I've got some interesting questions for your journey, and I've seen some of the comments and quotes that you put on your social media platform. Quite a big thinker and somebody with your feet on the ground, and already I can hear why part of that journey has shaped you where you are now. So yeah, I take my hat off to people who can go through that and build something, and it seems to me that's what you're doing. So good stuff.
Thank you, man. Like, yeah, trying to, it's like you say, I'm much better now, but a couple of years ago, it just, sometimes you just wake up that day and you're heavy, you're so heavy, but it's just trying to use that energy in a positive manner, and not something that's self-detrimental, because when you go down the other route, it just makes the pain worse.
You talk, when you say numbing, do you mean?
Yeah.
Do you mean what
Drugs
I think
and
you mean?
alcohol,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can all relate there, can't we? And that's something I definitely did. Luckily, I haven't lost a parent, and didn't. We spoke to Lloyd, yourself, and you've also lost a parent in lockdown period, which is must have been even harder, because I know some people couldn't go to funerals and all that, all sorts.
Yeah.
But I just leaned in because I was lost, and you do use it as a coping mechanism. But like you said, the next day, your problems are still there, but it's worse.
It is, yeah.
Because you can't think, you've got brain fog, you feel like shit. It's almost amplified 4, 5, 10x, 100x. Everyone's different, but every day I'd get up, every day I'd think it was a good idea, and then every day I wake up and go, that was such a bad idea, and it's this cycle. It's stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. We're just using a quote from a podcast we use, and he talks about this vicious cycle. You do this thing every time, and even though you can play it forward in your mind, you know exactly how you're going to feel tomorrow. You do it anyway, and he goes, "It's stupid," and it's stupid. But at the time, you don't think about tomorrow. Yeah. You think about the instant gratification and the numbing and the suppressing those emotions, even if it's for 6, 7, 10 hours. Just fuck off.
We can be quite slow learners in that sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, like,
it's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
We're intelligent beings, but we're also not the most intelligent at times. But I think everyone has it's like a bit of negative energy attached to them, but it's just how much you let that control you. You know, it's always going to be there. It's just if you let it fester and really weigh you down. But if not, then you can prevail above it.
And spin it in a positive light. And then you were trying to kind of characterize it in a certain way. For me, it was sink or swim in lockdown, because I either just leaned into the drug use and the drinking and hope the gigs came back so I could get some money, because again, like the same as you, I didn't have any other income. I put all my eggs in one basket, didn't have any savings, didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. So I kind of had to fight your way out of it. But I know some people who didn't go that way, and people who aren't with us now, who didn't manage to make it through that time. But
it's funnily enough, what Goddard was saying then as well is we were talking about it before coming in here, when he was saying about we all have this negative side, and I was talking to you about feeding the good wolf and the dark wolf, and it was on about the universe at large is built from light and dark. It has to be there, and it's that process of going through something that is so painful and dark, but on the other side, what comes, what can come from that. And I think for you, sitting down, locking in your studio, putting the hours in, and I'm thinking of Barry at Chapter and Verse now, who's somebody who sticks in my mind, putting the hours in, and he said, I'm just making tune after tune after tune after tune. He's got 500 tracks there, picks the best of them, and then puts them out there. I think of Lloyd, when he went back to his mum's, down and out, everything's done, no job, no place to live, living at my mum's, lost his father, and then it was, I've got to work, I've got to keep knocking down doors, I've got to keep trying, I've got to keep pushing, keep working. And that sounds to me like that was your journey from that point. And I really, I didn't know what you'd done with the meme and your track, and then getting that out there, and that's put you into with the drum and bass stuff, and it progressing from there.
Yeah, because I mean, originally I was just going to do it independently.
Yeah,
I was going to that was my plan. The Allstars thing, it was just a case of speaking to Joey, and then all of a sudden it went from, well, I was going to do it independent, but I mean, Allstars were great. The only thing that I was a little bit hesitant about was just the fact that I thought that my sound might be a bit too soft. Yeah, because it felt maybe too. Yeah, just too soft, I suppose, at the time, and because a lot of their releases were quite hard and really made for the clubs, so I was a little bit apprehensive. But I mean, it was actually a really, really, really good home. So yeah, I mean, yeah, shouts to them boys.
Yeah,
you know what again resonates with that story is, and with Lloyd, who mentioned about speaking up and asking George had defected for help. I mean, he wasn't asking for help, but he spoke to Joy and said, Joy, do you think we could do something here? And then Joy put him onto the Allstars, and it's just about, he made that connection, he made the effort, and now look what they come off the back of that, and then one domino after the other.
It's like, got to try and just put yourself out there.
You've got to be present, haven't you? And you've clearly, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to a couple of your tracks on the way in actually today, because my lass is my lass. I keep saying my lass. My wife. My lovely wife. Can you call you? You can say my lass still, can't you?
Manchester, innit, Mrs.
Well, no, but yeah, Mrs. But when you're married, is it rude then? Is it bad etiquette to say our lass? No,
I wouldn't say
really,
so.
no.
Fucking nice, isn't it?
You're from Wales, isn't it? That's what I say.
Our lass. She used to love drum and bass. This episode is sponsored by Digital Ibiza Rentals, the go-to crew for all your needs in Ibiza. Digital have been the lead concierge service in Ibiza since 2016, and there's a pretty good reason for that too. It's not because they have lovely hair or because they're well-mannered lads. Actually, why are they the best?
It's in the script. They're paying us to say that.
Oh, awkward. Anyway, listen, if you go into Ibiza and you need yachts, villas, private transfers, car hire, club tickets, guest list, or even helicopters, Digital has you covered. And these guys specialise in DJ equipment and sound systems. Listeners of this show get 20% off their first use of the service.
Just quote BearChat on checkout and get 20% off.
So head over to their Instagram at Digital Ibiza Rentals or to their website, digitalibiza-rentals.com, and quote
BearChat
to get 20% off. By the way, invites to villa parties are welcomed. Nice one.
Used to.
Well, she doesn't go out anymore because she used to go to, is it hospitality in London years ago, and obviously Ram Records, and I think some of her friends have released on Ram and stuff, and they used to go to parties all the time. And I think I went to one drum and bass night and I was like, I got a bad back, bro. So I can't dance to it. You got to like, you dance differently. You know, with house music, you can just stand there. You can just kind of like,
you can bob about.
You can bob.
Yeah.
But in drum and bass, you go on it's almost like a mini mosh. It's like between like a dance and a mosh. It's like proper fucking
A croc mosh.
You couldn't do a
I had to
raving
do
croc.
it. I had to do it.
But yeah, so when I said they were going to get you on, she was like, "Oh fucking hell!" And I sent her your Spotify, and I've been listening to a couple of your tracks. What was a Wasted Youth and Missing in Heaven?
Messy in Heaven.
Messy in Heaven, yeah. The Wasted Youth's fucking awesome. It's my favourite. You're right though. It's not like, and again, I don't know anything about drum and bass to be honest, but it's like not the stuff that Eleanor used to go out to, but like not liquid drum and bass. It's like some sort of middle ground. Am I right?
I was having a chat with this guy. He was showing me some of his tunes, his auntie, and then he was saying, "I really want to make liquid that I can still play at the clubs." And it's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, because I love liquid, but I play a little bit of jumper, but I don't make it. But what I try and make is sort of melodic, but with a darkness to it.
Yeah.
So it's still got like a bit of grit for the clubs.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can come together just straight away, and then some days I'm there like 4 days later. I'm like, oh man, it's just got worse.
No, I love it. I think that griminess comes from like the synths. Like the growliness of the synths and the bass and stuff that you use. You've kind of got, because that drum and bass has got that wom wom wom, but like you've still got that, but not. It's like almost a soft touch of it, and it really comes through nicely.
Me and Mish listened to that LSB in the Lab 2016 liquid mix religiously. Like it's got some nice vocals, really emotional stuff. I love liquid drum and bass as well.
What drew you to drum and bass then? Do you think?
Funny story, actually, Jackie, because guess what? You know when you did your Collie Wally thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a remix for that. I completely forgot about it.
Did you?
I did, yeah. Because I was in a duo before, and we used to make like down-tempo sort of ambient electronic music. And then I didn't want to make that because I was already sad. So I was like, I don't want to make that. I was just going to be crying on the keys. Like, but, and then I seen you do this remix competition. I thought, why I? I'm going to have a go. I'll have a go at it, yeah. But I was making a bit of both. Like I was making a bit of house because I made house at uni, and a little bit of techno. But I had a go at it, and then I would dabble in drum and bass. And I think the reason I went down drum and bass is because I felt like I could get more motion out of it than I could with house, with the 4x4. But not to say that house isn't emotional, because there's some beautifully deep house tracks out there, but it just naturally, I think, because that was my first ever love as well, was drums. Right. And I think it just kind of, I'd stopped listening to it for a couple of years, and I think it just naturally just kind of went back to my roots.
Nice. I always find it quite interesting, and the reason I asked that question is because I found that there was a north-south divide, isn't the right word, but in the north you'd get like hard house and trance, and that was all very, very big when I was at school. And when you go south, every time I spoke to like Eleanor, obviously my wife, our lass's friends, and anyone else who I met in London, they were all drum and bass through and through from school. And I find that interesting. There was never really an influence for drum and bass up north. So usually around who you hang around with and what tunes they're listening to, and that's your influences, isn't
No,
it?
100%. I mean, because I initially moved to London to do my second year at uni, and then I found that I was just in my halls, but most of the time 'cause I didn't have any money to go out.
Yeah.
So I was just making tunes, and I didn't really enjoy that year because I wasn't getting out that much. So I actually moved up to Manchester where they had another campus, and then I loved that. And the group of friends that I had there, they loved house. So I started going to house nights.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then it was quite nice stepping into a different scene and a different vibe as a whole. And then that's what kind of started that. And then the same as when I went to Leeds, I was still kind of listening to house and just sort of learning more about that scene. What I learned a lot about was the build-ups with house. Yeah.
What about them?
Just like the anticipation of them, like automation and stuff like that. Like because I was so early days with my production, like I wasn't really doing that stuff yet. And with house, I was like, how are they getting these these big swells and this anticipation? Like, how are they doing that? And that's one of the first things I remember learning when I was like trying to produce house.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember speaking to Mark and Tom, who were here, Tom Starr and Mark Maitland, and they were saying about how they would, if they're struggling to like finish a track, especially with arrangement. I know you probably won't know, but you might know a bit about this. But like, if you're making a track, you start. If you're struggling, make it from the big drop in the end, make it backwards. And I never did that. I always try to make like a 16 bar, 32 bar loop, and then do the whole thing in a oneer. But he's like, make the exciting bit first, make the big build and the anticipation. One thing I really struggled to do with my tracks is to build that anticipation. This might sound mad to people who don't make music, but build the build with less noise. So you'll see like the Solid Grooves guys, Pause, Bibby, all those, you know, they'll make tracks which they won't have loads of white noise and like whoosh, it just like drops out of nowhere and it's just so powerful. And every time I tried to do that more, I was taking more out the track and not like taking out the groove as opposed to like adding to the drop. So it's so clever, man. And I'd love sitting and talking to other people, especially people from different genres as well, because how you make a drum and bass track, obviously in certain ways is similar, but so different at the same time. So how have you took that lesson from trying to build the builds in house into drum and bass? What have you kind of took out of that to your productions?
I'd probably say just like the automation side of things, really. But I hear what you're saying about like less is more as well.
But that's
you
so
can go
annoying.
a bit like over the top with builds and adding rises and noise and then the sweeps. Like we're getting nerdy now.
Yeah,
but
he's starting to check out.
I know roughly what you're saying because I'm like picturing a track of like where it builds and breaks down, but technically I'm not looking at a computer.
The veins coming out his head going, what's this automation?
Yeah, my missus always says, "Oh, it needs some side chain compression." Just turn around, she's like that. Huh?
Yeah.
I
It's like
listen.
if you don't know nothing about football. And you're like, yeah, the problem with Arsenal is they always try to walk it in. And then that's it. That's all I got. That's all you got. But yeah, so you ghost produce as well, don't you? Or do you do a little bit of ghost producing still?
I've done a little bit of production for other people, but not so much at the moment because we've just been too busy. Like the traveling kind of takes. I'm not the best at traveling on the road. I'm trying to force myself to do it more, but I just like being stationary.
You mean working on the road?
Yeah,
like,
just like doing tracks on the train
Yeah.
and the plane and stuff. I'm just such a fidgety guy that I just can't really do it when I'm like that. I need to move.
Yeah, I can't work. I can never work on a laptop.
Nah.
I like to have a mouse and
Yeah,
a
I
proper
do like-
keyboard and stuff.
James Dexter said the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Same. Got to be in the studio. He doesn't really do it when he's travelling.
He can't.
When he's on the road producing.
And then you've got Waff, who makes a track
From
on
the
a
Beaver
plane.
Airport to the hotel.
The track of Beaver, he made it on the plane in like an hour, or in the car on the way to the Amnesia in an hour, and then played it, and then obviously that was his huge. Yeah, so some people can just work on the road. Some again, I'm not one of those people, but traveling anyway. So how have you found that the tour life? How have you adjusted to that sort of the industry?
Well, the last year I've been getting ill so much from the traveling. No, I'm all
You just
good
come
now.
back, yeah?
My immune system, I just got really bad. I mean, I had COVID like 6 times, and then every time I was getting on a plane or a train or coming London, I was getting ill.
Oh, really?
It's better now, but I've just had a load of blood tests and that just to try and figure out like ways to try and strengthen my immunity, because it just gets in the way.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going on the decks and you want to give energy to people, but you're just full of cold and all your head's banging and that, it's not really, you're not giving the right energy to give.
No. And how about like lifestyle in terms of the alcohol and the party and stuff?
Sober's rider. Rider is sober.
Really?
Yeah. Rider's sober, just because it doesn't, otherwise it's just tempting too much.
Did you see my reaction there?
Really?
We were talking about impulses before. I saw, sorry to digress, but it's on this same topic. We were talking before we got in here, and we were talking about, I was getting off the train and I saw a guy walk down the road. I just got off the train and he was hammered and he was stumbling all over. And my immediate reaction, like a reflex, was, oh, go on, lad, right? See, look, like instantly it's like a thing. And then I stood back and I was aware, like, why did I just have that reaction? That guy's like half poisoned. You know, if you put it into reality, right? But in our culture, we brought up in this country where we from the age of maybe 11, 12, 13, people are drinking on the streets, bottles of cider in the park. It's just obviously UK drinking culture. It's not great. So then when you said that about your sober rider, my reaction was, really? Like, I didn't even think, it just came out. But that's...
My reaction was slightly different.
I know.
I have my reasons why.
Showing off.
I have my reasons why.
Yeah, you do have. You do have your reasons why. I'll give you that.
I'll tell you. But the one thing from me of the back of what you were just saying, Goddard, is I'm picturing where you was in that room, and then to kind of where I've seen from what I know with your career and stuff, with that track "Messy in Heaven" was #1 in the UK chart.
3
weeks?
No, it got to number 3.
Number 3?
It was nearly, Jack Saunders was saying it might be Christmas #1, which would have been hilarious.
Okay, so there you go. And then it was in
Class.
the dance chart for 13 weeks running, I read.
Yeah.
That right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm intrigued to know, like, going back to where you was when your girlfriend said, you know, just go in the room and make tracks, and again, what you shared with us, and my condolences with your mother, is to go from there to here now. So that's like lockdown was 19, 20, 21-ish to now. So what's that been like for you?
It's gone really fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast. Like when Messi, because Go happened and Messi wasn't too long after. So the gigs just went from, you know, trickling in to... Woof.
And you've been nominated on the Brits as well, weren't you?
Yeah, we went to the Brits.
That's what I'm saying.
How was that, man?
Wasn't it? Yeah, I wasn't sober then. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, mate. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a wicked experience. It felt like a movie. It felt like a Seth Rogen movie. Like they pick you up and then you go there and then they take you to the after party. I was just constantly like, this just doesn't seem real. It was just complete disarray. But yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Well, that timeline from 2020 to going to the Brits, what was that? How long was that?
So, well, the Brits was it's not even that long. When was the Brits now? Where
3
are we?
months
July?
ago?
About
Oh, so it was this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-4 months ago.
For 3 or 4 years.
It's just been
That's what I'm saying.
been touring constantly, but it's actually only just now started to calm down a little bit, which has been great because it means I can finish a lot of projects.
Yeah.
So I'm just wrapping up stuff at the minute. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it has gone really fast. Like I try and tell that book that I was telling you about. Yeah. Like I really wanted to try and learn how to be more present and like how to take things in better, because things would just happen and then I'm like, I don't even think I would just process what just happened. So just trying to be more present. Like Sundays, I would get in. The first thing I do is go sit in the beanbag. My dog would come join me, and then I'll just like think about what just happened and try and process the whole thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's awareness.
That's what I'm saying. Because when I seen Andrew's journey from or Goddard, I keep saying Goddard, from that point what you was explaining and putting myself in that kind of position, and obviously being very relatable. That's like when you think how quick 2020 to now has gone. That's fast. That's a fast forward anyway. But to be doing what you're doing and to be making tracks in the studio to next minute being a track that's right up there in the charts and staying at 13 weeks in the dance chart, you know, that's a big thing in a short space. Then, like you said, all the touring and all the rest of it. So that's why I wanted to know, how's it been for you personally, from that to this point, and it being on fast forward. And I think with what you're saying there as well, kind of processing and decompressing after things. And I imagine your dog means something to you. You know, we've got dogs, so I understand again. Sitting there and allowing yourself and giving yourself the space to bring all that in.
Yeah.
Wise move, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important because you have to make that time, and also like as well just being present, like trying to really force yourself to just think about being present in that moment. Just having that thought, like, am I being present where you are now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's amazing that you have that awareness. That's why I said awareness.
Well,
before.
that's why I weren't surprised when you asked about drugs and alcohol and he said sober rider. I'm not surprised because I've seen one of your posts that you put up, Andrew, in February and I made a point of it because I just thought, wow, man, you know, that's pretty powerful, and it come across to me like you're somebody with your feet on the ground, and I'm gaining more of that as we're progressing in today's show. But you put something around overthinking, overanalyzing, imposter syndrome, and the weird shit that creeps into our minds when we're vulnerable. And I'm guilty of the mentality demise. I just written a note on them because like I've been there many times, so relatable. And I know me and you, Jackie, have been talking about it quite a lot.
Yeah.
And imposter syndrome is something that and Jimmy Carr talked about it very recently. He said, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, then it's a good thing because you're actually stepping outside of your comfort zone. So you're pushing yourself. But when you have that feeling of imposter syndrome, it's not a great feeling, on top of overthinking, overanalyzing, projecting, worrying about the future, worrying about this, that, and the other. So when I seen you put that, it's being vulnerable and putting it out to people and showing your authenticity, genuinity of being an artist. But now when we're sat here today and you was telling us your earlier story, what happened before to where you're at now, I can understand how that would have been happening as well, because like you said, it's fast forward, all of a sudden not really knowing, is the career choice the right career choice because of what's gone on in the industry, because of what's been going on in the world, to then sitting in a room producing, to then all of a sudden your productions being linked into, you know, this genre of music, to then chart topping tracks.
At the Brits.
Yeah, being at the Brits and gigging all over the world. It's like,
So
hang on
good.
a second, no wonder I need that beanbag of me dog. That's coming with me.
It's a necessity.
No, but it was a big, powerful post. And
Yeah.
I like, for me,
I love
just
that.
somebody reading it, I want to thank you for putting them words out there, because it made me
you, mate.
just like also realise and remember that it's completely all right to go through that, because I'm when that brain starts churning on and chewing up, you know, it can sometimes put you in not a great place. And I imagine you got a big following and people that will watch your moves on Instagram. A lot of the time it's all the stories and the reels and the glitz and the good stuff, and you've got on there in a moment and just been really real. And I've also, again, piggybacking off the back of that, I've seen that you've had a bit of a social media detox now because you want to stay creative. Yeah, tell us about that.
Because it was taking up so much of just the conversation of the day.
Yeah.
You know, it was always about what we're going to post this week, what times, what's it about, and it just, I speak. My missus now, she works with me with the management company, so. We just had a chat and I said, it just feels like all we're talking about at the moment is social media. Like it's actually kind of intruding on our own relationship now. So we kind of need to like just have a bit of a step back and just reanalyze what we're going to do. Because at the moment, it's just not working. Like it shouldn't be all about social media. And I know that there are people out there that said, well, it is fine. But for me, the music comes first, and there's nothing really to say without the music. That's what people want to hear from me, I imagine, is the music first, and then the social media comes next. So I have taken a break from it, and it's actually been really, really nice, because it was affecting the overthinking and the imposter syndrome and all that stuff. So it's just, I'm learning as I go, but trying to figure out a healthy balance between the two.
Yeah.
So how have you're not taking hiatus? Have you got it on your phone? Instagram and...
I've got it on my phone. And we are creatures of habit, right?
Yeah.
So I would still unlock my phone and then just click it without even thinking.
Yeah.
I could even
Isn't
be
that
going
mad?
it's so strange.
It's mad.
And even sometimes it takes a minute just to I'm on Instagram. Get off Instagram. Like you need to detox from it a little bit.
They've designed them very well. The design of the apps and how they work and the scroll and everything, you know, the reels. It's not there. It's not designed by accident. It's very.
I think it's called the slot machine theory.
Yeah. TikTok for sure.
Yeah.
TikTok's the worst one.
Yeah.
There's obviously there's no coincidence that there's like, you know, in Silicon Valley there's app companies called dopamine labs, because obviously they're building apps, then, you know, they're hitting the dopamine receptors, which I've seen it somewhere that the guy who actually even created the like button on Facebook, like, really regrets what he's done because he believes that it contributes to things. But that's why I was touching over it with Andrew then, because when I seen the post, I just thought, again, for me, really wise move. You know, I think as somebody who's an artist and you've got to get into that creative space, you've got to remove distractions and you've got to detach from things that are not feeding you. And I can see, and again, I'm seeing the synchronicities with the artists that we spoke to so far all say the same thing, is when I'm staying true to myself, that's where I want to be. That's why I'm doing it. And they always say, hopefully people are enjoying what I'm doing. And I can see from what you're doing, there's no coincidence that you've got certain productions that are out there and that the chart topping because you've been putting everything into it. But I think for somebody at your age, I just think that's really good, wise decision making that you're making already. The first part obviously being because when we spoke to Roger Sanchez, who's done it for 40 years, and all these people who've been in it for decades, as we were saying before, is they stay true to the craft and they don't get involved with the partying or the drug taking or whatever. Every once in a while, here and there on a small level. And I think for somebody who's had your career just go poof real quick, and then also grounded. Now, like you said, the keyword you used then was balance, and that's all we're all trying to do. And on your post, you put about a social media trap, mental health, and my ability to focus on stuff that's real, that gives me purpose. It's not coincidence that, you know, these books like Johan Hari's Lost Connections and that, there's a lot of studies now that are showing how detrimental these platforms can be just for people who are using them on a daily basis, projecting a life that might not necessarily be the case, not for everybody. But as an artist, like you said, you've seen it was just consuming a lot of your time. It's like, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because of this. And I just think, again, really good post. And I just think it shows where you're at. And as somebody who's looking at you as an artist or a fan would be looking at it thinking, go on, you know, go and do it. And I just think it's great. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Because there is like a bit of pressure that comes with the social media thing, you know, because you want to be able to give content and interact with people. But it's like you say, you know, it's the balance thing, and it was just off. Like I was starting to just question, like I don't even know what Goddard is right now. I'm very confused because Goddard is just me. It's not like an alter ego thing. It's just me. So, and it kind of felt like it was going in a way that was unnatural. So I was like, just put the brakes on, stop, recompose, reanalyze, and then come back to it. I just really wanted to get in the music and not have to think about social media, just to have that sort of free flow creativity. What was
well, you're on that point as well, but it's in my mind. What was the Jamaica music retreat? Yeah, was it a retreat or writing school?
It was a writing camp, yeah.
Writing camp, yeah.
My manager, shouts to Hal, my manager, how he when we first started working together, you know, he said, "Was there anything that you really, you know, want to do?" I said, "I really want to go to Jamaica. Like, I really want to go to Jamaica and make music out there." And he had an opportunity come up. There was some space at a writing camp, and then it was only like 10 days before the camp. It was like, "Do you want to go to Jamaica?" It's like, "When is it?" It's like 10 days. Like, well, I ain't gonna say no. So yes, yeah. So we went there, and went to Tough Kong Studios, and we got to see, we had like a tour when we first went there, so we got to see where they used to press the vinyl, we used to see where Bob's rehearsal room was. Wow. We got to meet Bob's engineer, Chow, who still lives there. He still lives right next to the main recording studio. There's like a room that he stays in there. Wow. And the engineers there are just jokes, man. They just come in with Ray nephews every time. Who wants some rum? And I'm like,
yes.
They call me here and say, Andrew, you're gonna have some rum? And I said, well, I need to finish this tune first. I'm definitely gonna have some, but I can't do this first.
Amazing. When was that? Recently?
That was recently. Yeah, it was about, when was that? I think
February this year.
Oh, yeah, February. Yeah,
I've still not been to Jamaica. You?
No, I haven't. But coincidentally, my auntie, who's from the States, she was over recently, and I was talking to her about it, and she was showing me pictures, and I was like, "Wow, that's in Jamaica." And then she was showing me, you know, the guy who's online, he does the tour. He goes, "Ha ha ha,
Yeah.
yes, man." She did the tour with him, and she was saying like he was just like stoned the whole time, but it was really funny. But no, I've not been, and I do want to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I seen them videos that you'd put up, it looked super cool what you was doing.
It was nice because it was I've been doing sessions in London, and it was just such a transparency between the two, because I think with, you know, London, you know, you're in with top liners and stuff like that, and it's very much kind of more of a work environment, sometimes can feel like that, and Jamaica was just not like that. It was just like, we're there to have fun.
It's like a jam session.
Yeah, it was brilliant, man. I was like, we couldn't go in the studio at first because they were doing a tour, so we were just waiting around in the waiting room, and I got my laptop out and just started putting some sounds together, and before you know it, one of the guys is going like yeah, and then the other guy starts getting up and he's doing the vocals, and like, we've got a bit of an idea going on in there, haven't we?
You know what that reminds me of a little bit about star player.
Exactly.
So this is an issue I had, or still have really, is kind of making music on my own. And what you were talking about there is people getting together in a room and making music. Like that's kind of how the best music's made, which is, sorry, Tom's words, not mine, Tom Starr. And they've got a retreat, or they've got a retreat. They kind of do these camps for artists. You're seeing where they just get loads of different artists together and then they switch them around the next day.
Yeah.
And he says the best music's made with groups of people, like as a community, in a community, and the energy in the room with several people, and it's special, and that's exactly what you just described there.
Yeah, I much prefer camps than like single sessions. Sort of, I feel like the single sessions, when you say, if I'm coming down to London for a session, it can just sometimes feel mad rush because we haven't met, so you know it takes like a couple of hours just to get to know one another, get on a level, and then even then you've maybe only got like 2 or 3 hours left to write the tune, record the tune. Like it's a lot to do in a very short period of time. Whereas a camp, you can have that day where you're getting to know each other, and then in the evening you get to know each other more, and it starts to feel a lot more natural. For me personally, some people hate camps, you know, but I love them. I'm an advocate for them.
Well, I think we're going to give it a go out. We're going to pop down to see Tom and Mark at some point. Because I promised them I'd go down after that episode. I was like, you know what? Because I haven't touched anything apart from the jingle that I made for this, which took me about 15 minutes. I was like, get me on and off Ableton as quick as possible. I just didn't enjoy the process, man. So
yeah, I was going to ask, like, do you still enjoy it, or do you just not really get that kick out of it?
I never really got the kick out of it.
No.
I made music so I could go on the road.
Yeah.
So I think that going to the star player sessions and seeing if that's something, interacting with other people in a room, I think I'm going to buzz off that, because I love being around other people. And as humans, we know that we're talking about the connection we need. I feel like I'm going to get much more of a buzz off that. So let's see. We'll report back on that. You're going to pop down as well, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, Locale, isn't it? Around the corner.
Oh yeah, it's from the corner from you. Local.
Yeah, Esquibel's, I think, was where they were doing it last time. I think he was saying it's going to be the same place, but no. But it's this. I read it somewhere this week. You know, you have one mouth and 2 ears for a reason. The more listening that you do, the more that you learn. So when you're around a group of people, and I imagine, you know, when you're in a creative space as an artist, you know, it's hearing certain things, you know, hearing somebody else's opinion, or why don't you try this, why don't you try that? But I think, like what you're saying, it's just, you get more done, you know.
Right.
But you learn so much, because no one works in the same way. Like I've never come across anyone that works exactly how you work, and it's really interesting to see how people do things, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to learn something. There's been so many times where I've seen other producers do things that are way more simplified and get better results, and I'm like, wow, I overcomplicated that massively.
Yeah, Tom said that. He said a couple of times, like, people come in like, oh, I'll do it this way, and he's like, actually, yeah, that's fucking well better than mine. One thing, I was working with Max Chapman on the track, and he went onto Ableton. I was trying to like strip down this loop, and he pushed this one button and pulled the parameter down like 50%. And I was like, it takes me about 15 minutes to do the same thing. About, obviously, I'm going right round the houses. And he says, yeah, you just push that. Are you fucking joking? Talking about listening for two ears and one mouth for a reason. I'm glad you listened to me yesterday on the train.
Yeah.
Bro, this man brought a boiled egg from Pret onto a train and was about to open it.
No, 2.
2 boiled eggs. Can you? It might. There's etiquette to this shit, isn't there? He's lived in a beaver for too long.
Yeah, just
When they open, it's just it's like a big stink bomb.
He said
off.
you shouldn't have told me about it. Next time I'm fucking too late now.
I'm going down there with the carriage.
so next time all I'm going to do is buy one of them pots and just put it in your bag and not tell you. Pull the lid off and just leave it in your bag. And they would say, it's in with them Crocs on down there.
I knew it.
Right, so should we move on to the pass the book?
Pass the book.
So,
Previous guest,
Tim Chaplin. Good friend of mine. Tim from the gym. Still on my phone is Tim from the gym. Incredible story. Recovering addict and helps people now come through recovery. You guys have connected on another level in the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and we've all become quite close.
David Lloyd Jim has a
David
lot
Lloyd Jim. But he recommended this book. I've told you about the feature because obviously you're going to recommend the next.
I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So this book, I haven't read this. Have you read this?
No, but when I went to get it before, because we'd left a copy at home, I read the back of it and what the book's all about. It's Tim down to a T, but really interesting book. I've not read it. I'm going to read it.
4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkman. Now, I push the camera, show them. This one? Which camera? Which one? This one. So when I read that for the first time, it reminded me of the poster I've got. I've got one of them 4,000 Weeks posters in my room, and every week you knock a week off. So it's just basically your life in little squares.
Right.
So it's quite sobering to see every Sunday I'll knock another week off, and you can see, I think it's based on 88 weeks, is it? 4,000?
Yeah, 4,000 weeks. But what I'm going to do real quick
88.
is just preface what we've been talking about and what Goddard's been talking about,
please.
And how I asked him about his Instagram posts and stuff. And a wicked session today. This is the power of Pass the Book, and what we're doing is time management for mortals. And it says we're obsessed with our lengthening to-do lists or overfilled inboxes in the sense that our attention spans are shriveling. But to find peace of mind, we must control the ultimate time management problem. The question of how best to use our ridiculously brief time on this planet, which amounts on average to about 4,000 weeks. That's what this book's about. And
Wow.
Yeah, well, there you
I
go.
believe
How
Goddard.
apt.
He's doing the right things for his career and taking a bit of a detox from social media for the right reasons. And I believe that book is going to add some value to what he's doing currently.
We never really have time. Time is an illusion, folks.
Yeah,
Yes.
quite literally.
Bear chat.
Bear chat.
Pass the book.
Bro, have you got any plugs, anything you want to mention, anything coming up?
Well, we just, do you know what? Yeah, go on then. Shameless plug.
Do
So
it.
this is a collab with Zenful Men.
Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's a collab between Rabbit Hole and Zenful, and we wanted to sort of get the message about holistic healing out there. It's something which has helped me, a lot. And you just want to kind of sort of start that conversation a little bit more, because I know it can be a touchy subject for some people. But yeah, that's the message that we want to, have the conversation about.
That's beautiful. I had no idea that was yours that's the first thing I said when I saw him. Fucking nice.
Holistic healing. Well, that's what I noticed the picture. So, them teas, like, can you buy them? Is it?
Yeah, you can buy them on our Instagram, on Rabbit Hole's Instagram, and on Zenful as well. This is the first drop. We've also got some bucket hats as well, and we're going to be doing hoodies later in the year after the summer.
Wicked.
Yeah, but it's our first ever drop, man. So really excited to get it out there, man.
We'll put the link in the description.
Yeah,
of the
definitely.
episode.
Yeah, I'm going to check
Thank
it
you
out.
so much.
Of course. Well, thanks for coming down, bro. Really good to chat to you. Really nice to
Thank you.
sit down for an hour. And yeah, let us know how the book is as well.
I will. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get stuck into this. To be honest, I definitely need a bit of help with time management.
Well,
Don't we all?
come around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. Nice
Thanks,
one.
mate.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Okay.